Good evening, welcome to Success in the City. My name's Helen Webster, and with the lovely
Sandra Scott. And our guest today is the very interesting
Bryan.
Welcome, Mark. Thank you so much for coming on the show today.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, we want to say a massive thank you to Mark. And he's given his time up, and he's dead famous now. So you might have seen pictures of him. You might have heard him on the radio. You know, you might have heard his. You might think, I know that fella from somewhere. When you're driving up Mill Lane, Derby Lane, I think going up towards town, you'll definitely see him around there now. He's going to be all around the city, but we'll find out loads more about that as we go along. But first, we shout out to the kids, any little people who've done amazing things this week. So, San, have you got any little people you want to shout out to?
No, I haven't, because I just keep saying the same people and I don't want to do that this week. So I haven't got any little ones this week. So I'll probably say double next week.
Okay, perfect. I'm going to give a big shout out to Alex. So Alex Hughes, who scored a hat trick at the weekend, and he got man of the match. So a big shout out to Alex. So well done, mate.
Well done, Alex.
Yeah. And because it's gone live, the cat's just walked in. Over to you, Mark. You got any little people?
Yeah, my shout out will be first of all my son Liam, who has had a little bit of a tough time health wise, bit of a respiratory issue that's affected his breathing that he had to go to all day for over the weekend. But he's bounced back and he was back in school first thing Monday morning. So shout out to Liam,
well
my
done,
little
Liam.
boy.
Well done, Liam.
And my little girl Emily, she has recently been given her pen license.
Oh, that's a big thing in school, the pen license.
It is. Yeah.
I would never get a pen license nowadays. My handwriting's that bad.
So can we explain what a pen license is to people who don't know what a pen license is? And people listening saying, what's that?
So a pen license is so children will use pencils, and when their handwriting is deemed good enough to a certain level, they'll be given a license by the teacher to use a pen, and will be given a pen to using in the classroom from then on.
I know, they're cute. I remember when we were in, I think when you were in third year juniors going into fourth year juniors, or round about it, you were allowed, that's when you got your fountain pen. And it was like, whoa, it was like their most exciting. But we didn't get a license. I think everybody just did it.
Yeah. You get the pen license now.
I quite like a pen license.
Big thing, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. It is interesting. I do remember the fountain pen was a big deal when we were at school. If you, but I don't know whether that is so much. But you know, I don't think you continue to use it. I don't use one now.
No, I haven't got a.
But they were
I haven't got a pen. I used to have. Oh, Dave Verbeek's listening in, and he says they got a quill license in his day. Yeah.
An inkwell that you started off like that, dips in,
Yeah. So well done. And now he might have gone on to like a crayon or something like that. Big thicker one like that, isn't it? Cool. So success of the week for you personally, something amazing that's happened to you, can be anything. I'm going to go to Sandra first because I'm sure she's absolutely bursting with this one.
So it's not my personal achievement. I did not make this happen. But the biggest success is Eurovision coming to Liverpool. So I've been obsessed with the Eurovision Song Contest since I was 8 years old and was allowed to watch it. And used to drive my mum nuts, repeating everything they used to say, like oui, toi, etc. And I credit that with a lot of my interest in languages and culture. And I loved it. And everyone knows I'm a complete lunatic about I get so excited about it. And then after Christmas, I think, oh, it's not long to Eurovision. And then we've got Easter, and then I think Eurovision. And then so since social media came about, I've always posted on about it. Like, people are quite surprised I'm so into it, but I've always loved it. So I didn't 100% think it was coming here, actually. I thought it was a good proper 50-50 chance. I felt it could have gone either way. I know I felt we were more deserving purely because of the musical heritage of the city, etc. And but I thought it was, I've been to events at Glasgow and they do it brilliantly as well, you know, so it was a 50-50 chance for me. And I was just absolutely ecstatic. I was just so happy that it's come here. So that was just the best success ever. So now, obviously, to be present, that's the thing, is to get a ticket. It's gonna be like the golden ticket from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, isn't it?
Yeah.
And my friend's coming from Glasgow to stay with me, because we always both said, she was the first other female I met who was obsessed with Eurovision like I was. So I'm just ecstatic about the whole thing.
So I'm convinced that you have actually brought Eurovision to this city. I was never in doubt that it wasn't coming to Liverpool, even though Glasgow's an amazing city. I thought there's no way it's not coming to Liverpool, because all you've talked about forever is Eurovision and it coming to Liverpool. So I think you've created that and you've manifested that and brought it to Liverpool.
I think Culture Liverpool has a lot more to do with it than that, and the campaign. And they've obviously done a brilliant campaign, and the video, and that's just the best success ever. Yeah. And it's massive for Liverpool, bringing all this in, and it puts us on a global stage. It really, I mean, it's Australia, Europe, and they'll showcase it at the events, and you see all the things. Oh, we might go there, might visit Liverpool. It looks really cool, and that's how it works, So I'm excited.
Have you got a success for you this week, even though I think that's yours?
Everything's been overwhelmed by the whole Eurovision thing.
Yeah.
I couldn't get past that. I woke up the next day thinking, did I dream it? And then I was like, no, it's real. I was in Oz on my own, and I was literally shaking. Honestly, I was just like, it's like being my childhood dream. And never in my wildest imagination did I think it would come to Liverpool. Like every year I thought, I wonder if we could go when it's in Italy, or if it's here, if it's there, we could go. Never in my wildest dreams did I think the Eurovision Song Contest would come to Liverpool. It's just absolutely mental. So I'm ecstatic about that.
Amazing. What about you, Mark?
Well, just before we move on to me, I'd like to see you, Sandra, as the roving reporter, the person from Liverpool that the camera goes to. In some big venue in Liverpool, on the night. You've got the people in the studio, and then you need somebody in Liverpool, with the headpiece on and the microphone. So how's it going in Liverpool, Sandra? I think that should be you.
No, I'll be hysterical. They'd be like, cut. I'd just be screaming. But I'm excited because I'm going to wait around town as I normally do and give directions to people in their own language, because that's my favourite thing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so I love it. I'm just ecstatic about the whole thing.
I love the roving reporter though, Mark. # Scotty for roving reporter.
Yeah,
that's what we're going to kick off and start. Cool. Amazing. And what about you, Mark? What success? Don't spoil it for everybody, because we're going to talk about your big, massive one in a minute. There must be a little something else.
Well, to be honest, my big success is what we're going to talk about in a little bit. I'd like to though, when we do talk about that, it's not just it's not my success. It's actually bringing this to Merseyside, because just like Eurovision, this campaign could have gone anywhere in the UK.
I know, and I was super excited when you told us about that last week.
So to be honest, my mind is just full of that at the moment. I can't think of much else.
You're like that about Eurovision.
Yeah.
All will be revealed shortly.
All will be revealed. But before we reveal that, my success is I went to see the filming of Question of Sport yesterday. It's also my red face. So it links in nicely to my red face.
This is news. Oh, brilliant.
I've just remembered. I thought, what? And Bryan thought, yeah, it has happened, yeah. Okay. But yeah, no, Question of Sport was brilliant, and we went, and it was just lovely. That was my big success. I love a bit of live sport.
Are you a big fan?
So I've watched the Question of Sport since I was about 11.
Like me with Eurovision.
Yeah, and I've watched it, and it was dead good, because one of the answers, which I'm not allowed to say because I don't want to spoil it for everyone, but one of the answers come up, and I was like, I just already know that, and they didn't get it, so I was like dead made up with myself. That never happens when I watch University Challenge.
Ask the audience.
Yeah, so that was really cool, and I think that's it. We've had some good things this week, haven't we? I can't think what else.
A lot of good things, but they've been just
overshadowed by Eurovision.
Yeah.
And Mark when we talk about it. Okay, we're going to play this or that. Sandra, are you going first or am I going first?
I'll go first. Okay.
So Sandra's going to ask you and I, Mark, like a this or that, and then I'm going to ask you and Sandra a this or that. Okay, go on, San.
Okay, Mark, cycling or running?
Oh, that's a good question. Both. I can't choose. I just can't choose. Just both, honestly. If I've got more time, I like to get on the bike because you do need a little bit more time to cycle. But, you know, if I've only got 30, 40 minutes or even an hour, then running.
Excellent. Well done. Nice.
Hell.
Running for me, hands down. As soon as I jump on a bike, me bum aches and my legs burn after about 7 seconds. Yeah. Even though I used to be on my bike forever when I was little.
Yeah, clearly. Yeah, well, you know what? We could be talking a rally shopper with a basket on it here. Yeah. So cycling for me, definitely. That because I was always on a bike as a kid. And I'd much rather cycle than run.
Yeah. Cool. Okay. For me, a ballpoint or a fountain pen. Mark.
Oh, it's definitely a ballpoint. Definitely. Yeah.
What about you, Sam?
Fountain pen, 100%. There's nothing better. And I do try and use a fountain pen. And I had a lovely fountain pen, which I lost, that I got for my 50th birthday. I was so disappointed. So I'm sort of managing with cheapo ones, but I always like to have a nice fountain pen. And I just think it's nice. And my handwriting's not very nice, but it keeps it a bit better if I use a fountain pen. So 100%.
Yeah, I write in ballpoint, but I love, but I'm left-handed, so you smudge, so I have to write like upside down like that. But yeah, I think a fountain pen, and you could buy left-handed fountain pens as well.
Right.
Yeah, so and the nib is, I know I thought the same. I thought it was like a joke, you know, like a mug, but it's not.
Bad, but yeah.
The actual nib, where it comes down and the point is slightly on a different angle because we write like funny. So yeah, you can buy a left-handed. But when I bought the left-handed one, it was scratchy, and when I used the right-handed one, it worked. So, but then I do lots of different things upside down, don't I?
Way, yeah, as
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
Fountain pen is used to you as well and your pressure and everything, which is why you shouldn't share fountain pens. You have your own. Yeah. Brilliant.
I thought that was a
I'd just
joke.
make too much. I'd make far too much of a mess for a fountain pen.
Yeah,
It'd be all over me. It'd be
in your pocket like that, isn't it? With all the
just making a mess.
Cool. Go on, Sam.
Okay, so this one's for Mark first of all. So Mark, obviously, and you're going to explain a bit more about the FSB and what that is. So you're in business, we go out and about and meet people. Do you prefer face-to-face meetings or Zoom meetings or Teams online meetings?
I do prefer face-to-face, definitely. I feel as if, yeah, definitely more I feel more natural. Yeah. I don't like seeing myself reflected back on me on the screen. I think that puts me off the most, to be honest.
It could be well worse, Mark.
Could be worse. You could have hair like Sandra.
Yes, is in the morning. Exactly, so don't be worrying.
But face to face.
Face to face for me, 100%.
Definitely.
Although I mean, pre lockdown, I'd never used Zoom or Teams or anything like that. And it is amazing for keeping in contact with people. So, like, you know, I've quite a lot of Zooms with Belgium and things like that.
Yeah.
And I'd much prefer, when I'm having a meeting like with Belgium, I much prefer having a Zoom with them than being on the phone. Because at least you can sort of see each other and have a chat and things like that. So but face to face, hands down, because you can read it a little bit more, can't you? With what people are. What about you, Sam?
No, I would say face to face as well. Zoom's good for efficiency, so you can go like that. And if you know someone well and you need a quick catch up, that's good. But when you're meeting people and that, I think face to face is really important. You know.
Yeah, 100%. Okay, a BMX or a racer, Mark?
Well, when I was younger, it was definitely a BMX. Obviously, you know, I was really, really into my BMX when I was younger. But now, you know, now it would be a road bike racer.
Yeah.
Although as the weather changes, as it is now, I move on to me mountain bike, which I use as my winter bike. You know, because it's just bigger wheels, safer, and a bit more grip.
Yeah, safer tyres. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about you, San?
100% not a racer bike. Oh my word. And BMXs weren't invented when I was very young. People aspired to have a chopper. They were the bikes at the time. So BMX, it would have to be out of the choice there. What about you, Hal?
So I used to like the BMXy type little bikes that you can fling around and jump off things on. But then I did get a racer when I did my triathlon, and super dead fast and stuff like that. But I don't feel I feel more confident on a mountain bike than I do on a racer. I think, you know, with the wheels and but I don't actually like cycling that much, so maybe that's why.
So all we need is another person on like you two, and then I can sing One of These Kids Is Not Like the Other, like you two like triathlon, racing bike. What's happening? No, okay, yeah, let's get back to reality. So Mark, pancake or waffle?
Pancake. And it'd be plain.
Plain?
That's controversial.
Nothing on it at all?
No, it would be plain. I know.
Wow.
I know. What are you going to do? I know. You might as well turn me off. You might as well switch me off now.
I know.
When you do pancakes, do you flip them in a pan, like for pancake day?
Well, to be honest, I can't say I make them myself, but, you know, in a previous role, one of the subsidiary businesses that I was responsible for was a dessert restaurant.
Yeah. That's right.
So, you know, but I couldn't say I would make one myself. But these desserts sort of were on a really big hot plate. It's quite a skill for them to be made fresh, you know, in a restaurant.
They're the posh pancakes. They're not.
Not with a bit of like Nutella and strawberry or anything like that on it.
No, I would tend to have it plain. Yeah.
Oh no.
What about you, San?
Pancakes, definitely. I quite like waffles. If you go to Belgium, they all have them for breakfast. That's lovely. But I like pancakes, definitely. And I like them with golden syrup. Tate and Lyle's golden maple syrup.
Yeah.
Golden syrup, yeah. So I know, I love them. What about you?
I love pancakes. Pancakes are just like amazing. But yeah, lemon and sugar, or like a bit of Nutella and strawberry, or baked beans.
Beans.
Right, she just said that deliberately, Mark, because oh my God, I can't believe you've done that. So, Mark, I think that baked beans are the food of the devil, right? I think they should be illegal. And I don't mean like homemade ones or that you would get in Mexico or something. I mean the disgusting things that the stench makes you feel sick as soon as the can's opened, made by companies that are all over the place, and people give their young people, and they've got sugar in them and everything, and they're just dreadful, and they're like gloop. That's what she's on about. No person in their right mind would ever put that on it. In fact, that's probably an arrestable offence in the food world. What a shocking thing to say.
Yeah,
I'm big into beans at the moment. I'm just moving over from meat diet to vegetarian. I'm virtually just in the last month or so, and I'm virtually there with vegetarian. And one of the many things besides cutting out meat and adding in substitute sort of vegetarian, you know, options, is of, you know, butter beans, chickpeas, you know, all those things.
Oh no, I love all of that, Mark. That's all
fried up.
That's
with
all
me corn and me lentils. And
dead healthy. I love all of that. That's great. I've got no problem with any of that. The problem is with the processed gloop with food colouring and sugar in. That's just disgusting.
proper baked beans. She doesn't like.
It's borderline dog food. I just hate it so
That was
much.
a little bit dramatic.
And then Helen goes, well, fancy saying, put it on a pancake. And when we go to our breakfast meetings on Friday mornings, Helen, she goes, baked beans on her bread. And I'm like, and I have to walk off.
It's hilarious. You can't look at anyone who's got baked beans on the plate or anything like that.
Move on. Never mind baked beans.
Anyway, have I done all of mine? Yeah.
Yeah,
No.
let's move
on. Let's move on. Okay, so we've got Mark with us tonight, and we're going to hand it over to Mark. Sally, are you going to introduce Mark?
Can today.
Okay.
Nice. We both know him very well.
Yeah. So we've known Mark for a few years, long years. And Mark and I bumped into each other in the coffee shop last week, and we'd had a little chat, and he told us all about this dead exciting, amazing thing that's been happened to him, and it's come to Liverpool. And we'd already said that Mark was going to be a guest on our show, so we thought, can we bump it forward, because the timing is perfect, because this has just gone out. And it was really funny, because I saw you in the coffee shop. I think it was on last Friday, and then I was driving along, and then your voice come over the radio, and I was like, that's Mark. And then I was driving, and then I've seen a poster as well, but I don't want to give too much away. I'm going to let Mark explain all of that. So we'd like to welcome Mark Bryan from the FSB, which is the Federation of Small Businesses, but he's going to tell us a little bit of his journey of how he got to where he is now. So over to you, Mark, and then Sandra and I'll butt in and ask questions at the same time.
The same questions.
Okay. Well, I was born and brought up in Kensington, Liverpool, so just outside the city centre. Stayed in Liverpool. Left school as soon as possible. So left school at 16, and I wrote to lots of different places, and I was offered a job with what was then Pioneer Mutual Life Insurance Company in Crosby. Some people might remember that building, because quite a large, prominent building in Crosby. Yeah. So I started working there. Later, moved on to Eagle Star Insurance Company, which was another landmark business in Liverpool, in a lovely place, Indie Buildings. Fantastic place to work.
Yeah.
And this is still while I'm, by then, probably 18. Eagle Star Insurance Company had a fantastic social life for young people. So we were all like, I don't know whether we were filing clerks or, we had a fantastic social life. It was back in the days when, I was nearly going to say when everyone went to the pub on a Friday, but I think everyone went to the pub every day. Back in them days, times were a bit different. I think, so let me see. Did a couple of different things, mostly in the insurance industry, and eventually found my way into a banking advisor role for the Halifax Bank, which later became HBOS, Halifax Bank Scotland, and then Lloyds Banking Group. I was there for about 12 years. Did a number of different roles, banking advisor. I did my financial qualifications. It was CMAP and CIFA back then. Even that's probably shown me age, because things have probably moved on since then. But one of the couple of big turning points was a major illness that I suffered in my early 20s. I had really serious abdominal pains, and eventually had quite a serious operation to remove part of my colon, suspected Crohn's. So that took a few years to sort of recover from. Probably took 12 months to be diagnosed, and probably 2 years before I was really recovered. I was told through that process that I had a bag of not a colostomy bag, I should say. A bag of medication that I left the hospital with, and told you're going to be on them for, you're going to be on them forever. But I had an aversion to taking, taking tablets, and I still do now. My wife gives me, makes fun of me, because in an extreme circumstance, I'll have a quarter of a paracetamol. She goes
Visually.
mad.
I'm the same.
Anyway, so I got an ovation. So I just didn't take them. I just put them to one side and didn't take them. And that's where the health. So when I talk about anything health related, if you bring it back to that, you'll understand that I'm not. I don't know. I'm not. It was from that. It was from a it was from a dedication to health and fitness and sort of nutrition that allowed me to dump all those pills and leave that illness behind me. Nothing else. I'm not. Not. It was from that. So, but then, during my time at Halifax, another big turning point was I I enrolled onto a business degree course, and I was never really someone who I'd gone back to college and got my GCSE in maths and did think, oh, as a mature student, I did feel a bit more capable than when I was younger, but never thought I was somebody who was really that academic, capable but not academic. So I enrolled in a business degree course, to some extent inspired by my brother, who was part way through a law degree at the time. So I did that. I was working full time and I was studying the equivalent of full time because I completed it in the same 3 years that you would do if you were doing it full time to daytime. But what I did was, John Moores University had a unique way of being a full-time student, but you could do your lectures in the evening, and then all I had to do was give up my weekends, and I could complete my degree course in the same length of time. So looking back now, I've got no idea how I did that. No idea at all. Like 70 hours a week, something, So I got through that. I got my degree, graduated, cap and gown. Now that gave me a great deal of confidence. It really did. So, if you were to ask me, what did that give me? What do I think completing that degree give me? The biggest thing it gave me is confidence. I came out of that a different person than I went in. That is definite. A sort of probably more, blinkers off, a bit more, I don't know, scientific in thought process, a bit more, I don't know, I just changed. It had a profound effect on me, and that led to me being invited into a Liverpool business, a very successful Liverpool business that operated a well-known franchise brand. A franchise brand that we've all drank in and we probably all drink in every single day, that we're all addicted to. So I was invited in by the business owners who'd built the business to, a good level, but all the advice around them was to, really think about how they move the business on to the next level. Some business owners get to a level and they'll exit the business, they'll sell to somebody else who can scale and structure, or they will embrace scaling and structure the business self, but often invite somebody in. Now, with my experience of banking, it gives you a good grounding in finance, which is great for being involved in any business. I had experience in a number of different areas of banking and finance, then the degree. So I joined the business as the finance director, brought some systems and processes and structure into the business that took the business from, I don't know whether it was 10 or 12 stores to, in the end, by the time I left partway through COVID, it's 30 restaurants. 30 restaurants, multiple owned properties, multiple leasehold properties. I also managed and grew the personal investments of the business owners as well. So it was quite a diverse role. Group managing director, retained is what I went on to be. I retained the finance director role and was the business owner's personal. I don't know whether you call it financial advisor. He didn't really put a name on it, to be honest. I grew the wealth of the business owners away from even the trading business, which brings us up to COVID. Retail food and beverage was having a really tough time before COVID, really tough. Rightly so, the living wage was brought in, but it put tremendous pressure on the business that I was in because it was a franchise business and we couldn't influence the menu board pricing.
Yeah.
So when labour costs went up, we couldn't affect our own, sales, price point. So it was very, very difficult, very challenging. When COVID hit, it was like a bit of a tsunami, as it was for everyone, but retail food and beverage. I don't want to say retail food and beverage were hit more than anyone because everyone was hit, but retail food and beverage, like everyone, was as hit as much as anyone, if not a bit more. And I've there's some changes in the circumstances of the business ownership, and COVID, and I'd been in that business for 10 years, so I took the opportunity to exit that business. During the 10 years that I was involved in that business, for the most part, I was a member of the FSB.
Oh, okay.
And I was an advocate long before I became like a formal advocate, because it was a great resource. I'm gonna let you into a bit of a secret. It was a bit of a cheat, right? The cheat was, I don't know everything, right? But people thought I knew everything, because one of the things that the FSB does for its members is, within its portal or the app, at the touch of a button, literally, I can be speaking to a solicitor, a tax advisor, a lawyer, a HR professional. Now, I had a team. I had a operations director. I had a property manager. I'd had a HR consultant, so I was able to give strategic direction, but from a point of knowledge that people didn't know where it was coming from. Well, some of it was coming through experience, some of it was coming from the FSB.
So for those who don't know what the FSB is, do you want to give us a little explanation of what it stands for and what it sort of is all about?
Well, I'll just take a few steps back from the point at which I've just been talking about my experience with the FSB. So the FSB has been in existence for nearly 50 years. It was born just outside of Blackpool when a group of very small business owners came together 50 years ago, pooled the resources, hired a solicitor to represent them and challenge the government on an issue of that time.
Right.
And that became the Federation of Small Business. That group of people went on, 50 years on, 170,000 plus members, and over the years, they've
Oh, he's just frozen for me.
I thought it was me.
The core, the fundamental purpose is it's lobbying, it's campaigning for a better environment for smaller businesses to operate in.
Right. Okay. And how small do you have to?
I've lost you.
Oh, no,
I think you've just frozen, Mark, but we can hear you in the background.
Audio, don't worry.
Oh dear, I think we've frozen.
Okay. No, we can hear you still. How small do you have to?
Hello, are we back?
Yeah. How small do you have to be in the Federation of Small Businesses? Oh, he's struggling to hear us there.
Oh, he's gone and then he's come back. It's normally me that happens to, isn't it?
Yeah, that's unusual. I wonder if he's got a cat dancing round as well.
Maybe.
It is good though, but I think people think the Federation of Small Businesses, it is different size businesses, but I'm not sure what the maximum has to be. Do you know what I mean? What the maximum size is?
So I think it goes from what a sort of, oh, he's coming back. We're going to let him back in again. Here he is. He's coming back in. He's in.
Apologies.
It's all right. Have you got a cat or a dog with you who's trampling all over things?
Whilst you were in the abyss, you went through the wardrobe into Narnia and came back to us. We were just saying, how big or small, what is the size of a small business according to the Federation of Small Businesses?
Well, do you know the FSB has rebranded? Sorry, yeah, the Federation of Small Businesses has rebranded to the FSB because the small is not as appropriate as it was 50 years ago. Okay.
Okay.
So smaller businesses for the FSB is businesses up to 250 employees.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
In certain circumstances, 300, but let's just say 250 employees. So sometimes not so small, sometimes very much medium-sized businesses.
Yeah.
Sometimes extremely high turnover business, extremely high, but still, within the number of employees. So its purpose, though, I think is where we got cut off. Its purpose still lies within its lobby and its campaigning. It does a lot of good work. A lot of things that are achieved. People are surprised to hear that they were campaigns that the FSB put forward that was achieved. Rates, anyone with a rateable value of less than £15,000 who's enjoying nil rates, no rates to pay, would have the FSB to thank. There's many campaigns, a lot of work during the COVID crisis. Even though FSB doesn't label and brand these things, furlough, government turned to FSB and said, being the largest business support organisation in the country, what do your members need? And it's to pay wages, need refunds on retail grants, refunds on rates, which became the retail grant, and the wages being paid, which became furlough. And when they didn't go far enough for the self-employed, FSB was right in there. In fact, at the end of the crisis, the government did recognise formally and publicly the support that the FSB gave.
Amazing.
So that's a whole body of work. That's a whole area. We've got campaigns. We've got many different campaigns supporting the care sector. Supporting disabled and entrepreneurship in disability. We've got a campaign there. We've got lots and lots going on in that space there. But over the years, the FSB's pulled together a range of resources, actual tangible resources for businesses to access that the members have sort of, voted for or asked for or said that they need. And that is where I say literally a member literally at their fingertips, either through the app or through the membership portal, can book a call back from a solicitor across all the areas of running a business. So we're all in business and we're all skilled at delivering something. It could be languages, it could be engaging children in fitness and sport, but there's fundamentals in business, and that's where our legal hub fits. We fill those gaps to allow you to focus on the thing that you're expert in delivering, to save you time, money, and also to reduce your risk. So as a throwaway example, anyone employing people needs contracts of employment policy handbooks, at times needs the appropriate letters to deal with issues and challenges that naturally will come up from employing people, and FSB gives instant access to legal advice and all those resources. In addition to that, gives the member £100,000 worth of legal cost protection.
Wow.
And in most cases, membership starts at 50p a day.
So,
now it is determined by the number of employees.
Yeah.
The more employees, there is a slightly larger contribution. But
so Mark, I was going to ask, and I know we've spoken about this, that is it because you're so evangelical about it that you have been picked as the face of the FSB, and in our newspapers, on billboards, on the radio, etc., talking all about it, because it's a national organisation, isn't it?
It is. So, So the reason why, I'm a natural advocate of the FSB anyway, because of my background in business and running other people's businesses as well as having a business myself. I was invited in by the FSB to engage and speak with business owners around Merseyside in the first instance. So I've been doing this role for 12 months now, just over 12 months. And a month or two ago, I was approached and asked, would I be willing to put myself at the front of a campaign? As it was presented to me, there was a pot of money that the FSB has been given to bring to the attention of small businesses, even more than we already do, the support that we offer. Because now more than ever, smaller businesses or businesses appreciate and recognise the importance and the value of coming together as a larger body, given what we've been going through and still going through. That you don't want to be, out there on your own. It can be a very lonely place for anyone running any size business. So people appreciate that more than ever. So FSB is given a pot of money, and it didn't have to come to Merseyside. It could have gone anywhere. There's about I don't know whether there's 60 or 70 people with various sizes. I've got quite a large area, various sizes varies. Could have gone to anyone. It was like a 1 in 60 or 70 chance. I'm not going to say it was all down to me. I'm not, because it would be wrong. I think there was great interest in the Merseyside area, in bringing it to Merseyside, and then you overlay that with the profile that I've created with LinkedIn and the events that I attend and support, and the network and the connections that I make.
You've been very active, Mark, haven't you? You've been very active in supporting the FSB and sharing the message of what the FSB does and the benefits to businesses of joining and things. And you've done it in a very cool way. You haven't done it in a big, you need to be in this and you need to do. You've done it in a very relaxed way where this is the offer, and I think it'd be good for you. And if you don't want it, then that's okay. But if you do, come and see us.
Well, Helen, you know the post that I did when we met. Do you know it's not about me at all, right?
No, it was a lovely post because you created a lot of stuff. So we could have taken a photograph and said, "Yeah, look at us seeing each other," and you didn't. You took that post and then you really, really promoted my business on LinkedIn. So
that's my approach and has been for 12 months.
Yeah.
There was times when I hope there's not many people listening. There was times when I don't know whether criticised is wrong, but told that's not the right way to do it. And I stuck at it. So what I've done for the last 12 months, I have raised the profile, not of me, but of your business, someone else's business. So I've attended events and I've sort of talked about the event. I've spoke less about me than I have about what everyone else is that I've been doing. If you ever see my welcome to the FSB, welcome to the FSB post, which profiles the business, my posts are 90% profiling the business. And probably once a week, these are the benefits of the FSB. And as I say, I don't want to say criticize, but some people say to me, "Oh, that's not the way to do it. You're just becoming a social media channel for other people's businesses." Well, I like to think actually that 12 months has paid off, and somebody in the FSB has seen that and liked what they saw. Plus a scrub up. Well, but we'll move that. But so I like to think that somebody's seen that as well. Seen the hard work, the hard yards. I was invited and what happens is I've been invited to a couple of big events that I was really happy to be invited to. One was the Liverpool City Region Combined Authority event. That was the Mental Health and Work Summit at the Exhibition Centre in Liverpool, which I spoke at in the afternoon, because FSB offers a level of health support for its members as well, access to a private nurse. And so I was there from what does the FSB offer in terms of support regarding mental health and general health to businesses. So I spoke about what we do on a podium, on stage to the 70 or 100 strong delegation, which was a great experience. I also attended the Good the Good Business Festival, the 3-day event all around the city, where I met Claire Dallas, who is very much into sustainability. I met Claire, onboarded Claire into the FSB, and got to know her about her sustainability awards. Couple of things at the end of the Better Business Festival, after watching 3 days worth of presentations, big things that you can do at the end, and it stayed with me. They said, don't worry about not being self-employed people, smaller business. Don't be too concerned about taking on, or the ability to take on big things. Do what you can, no matter how small it is. And that's where the story that you've seen in the Echo came about from. So I decided in the month, I think it was, of September, and it's very, very small, it's very soft, but I made a commitment on the back of the Better Business Festival and conversations I had with Claire Dallas to raise sustainability's profile by cycling to all my appointments 1 day a week. Sounds easy. It was harder than you think, having to pack everything into a bag and being able to, and not let people know that you turned up sometimes. Like Sandra, I came to your networking event on my bike and you might not have known. But I hid it away, got changed, smartened myself up, came into the meeting, because, you don't necessarily want people to see.
You mentioned it at the end, I think, but I was just dead impressed by that. I thought that was really a cool thing to do.
But I always like doing silly challenges and soft things, and my wife's always rolling her eyes at something that I'm doing. She's rolling her eyes. She's rolling her eyes at all this attention that I'm getting from on the radio and.
Have you logged how many miles you've done? Have you logged your cycling miles?
For that, no, I didn't.
No, you should go back and have a little look. Go back and have a little look and see how many miles and what it equates to. Because as we were talking before we came on, lots of people can do lots of little things, and we always say if everybody does a little bit, we can achieve a lot. And I remember, camper van woman, Jo Summers coming on, and she said, delete the emails in your trash.
Oh yeah.
And apparently that saves like loads on your carbon footprint and things like that.
Does it?
Yeah.
I'll be doing that.
And that's something that everybody can do, and we're talking about turning the lights off, and we're talking about, stopping, when you're cleaning your teeth, stop the water and things. But if everybody took 1 day of possibly, cycling or walking or just doing a little something, together we can achieve a lot, can't we?
What stayed with me is all journeys of a weekend of less than 3 miles. I still cycle now.
Oh,
so a little bit of it stayed with me. And something I mentioned earlier on, I don't know whether we were on air when I mentioned it, but I'm always trying something soft. Like I did the 30-day cold shower challenge.
Did you?
And then a few months ago, I did 1 day a week not eating meat, and now I'm virtually vegetarian. I mean, I am vegetarian now.
Yeah, and how are you feeling? How are you feeling with it?
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Honestly, really good.
In the lockdown, Sandra, so I went vegan-y, plant-based in lockdown. It's been nearly 2 years now.
I did it for January.
You did it January. I think I started in the August, September.
Yeah,
we watched
already before.
We'd watched a few things on and it was about meat and dairy and stuff like that. And just the difference you feel is amazing. And with the amount of stuff that's available out there and learning how to cook new things and all the sort of learnings and things like that's good, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, some of the things that have inspired me regarding moving over onto a vegetarian diet has been things that I've seen and read about inflammation in the body.
Yeah.
Meat can accelerate or create inflammation in the body, which can have a knock-on effect of many, many different things, digestion and all kinds of different things. So that really inspired me.
Dairy as well. Dairy.
100%.
dairy course stuff for a lot of people, but that's another show, believe me.
Yeah,
it is another show. It is. So Anna, I don't know whether. So we go out live on LinkedIn, we go on Facebook, we also go on YouTube, and then we get turned into a little podcast on StreamYard. But Anna's listening in on LinkedIn, and she says, "Well done, Mark, for being the FSB campaign business owner for Merseyside." So Anna's one of our previous guests. So it's nice that our previous guests listen in and support our guests who are on today, which is brilliant. So. We do have a little format, Mark, but I think we could speak to you for a long, long time. And thank you so much for sharing your story and your journey of, leaving school and then going back and educating and then going off and then coming back and now making such a massive difference in our city and really putting us up there and winning, out of
campaign.
a national campaign, which is really, really good. You should be proud of yourself.
Thank you. No, thank you. Thank you very much, both. Thank you, Helen. Thank you, Sandra.
No worries. So we have a red face moment, something slightly embarrassing that could have happened that people can laugh along with. Not at you. Do you want me to go first?
Yeah, go on, Hel. I'm dying to hear this one. I don't think I've got one today. Go on.
So he goes on Question of Sport website and registered for the tickets. You get the BBC thing to you. And with me and my mum are trying to get Strictly tickets, and we've been, but I've just had another thing saying I'm not in. So Question of Sport come up. So I thought, oh yeah, we'll go to that. So off we go. And it says, doors open 2:30, show starts at 3. Goes over, stands there. The queue's massive. Standing in the queue. And anyway, 2:30 goes, 5 past, 10 past 3. They start to let us in. So we've got our tickets and we walks up and we goes like that. And they said, oh, you haven't got the red sticker. So I don't know what red sticker. Anyway, you had to go at 1 o'clock to be verified to then get. I said, so they said, what the show that you're supposed to be watching is actually being filmed now. So I said, right. So I was like that. So anyway, they said, we'll go away and then come back in 15 minutes. And if the full capacity, like if people couldn't go, we'll give you the reserve. So we ended up with the reserve seats. So we ended up in and everything. So it was cool. But yeah, it was a bit embarrassing because we just totally hadn't read the tickets right.
That's like my normal day. I wouldn't even make that worthy of a red face. That's normal for me. You've got the wrong door or the wrong time. That wouldn't bat an eyelid. Yeah.
Me and Phil went to the Everyman one year and we had our tea downstairs when it just opened, the restaurant. Went up and sat down, we're in our spec. And these two women come in and they said, oh, you're in our seats. I said, oh, I don't think so. And I got the tickets and I was like, no, look. I said, they're the right seats. And she goes, yeah, but that's for tomorrow.
Yeah. Oh, I've done all that. You've done that.
Like, so we went on, but I was sat there and I was going, they're not. These are all.
Oh yeah.
It's the wrong day.
Have you got a red face at all, Mark?
Well, I've got a couple, but throwaway one similar to yours is I was invited to a networking event, very early one. So I must be, I don't know whether I was a bit nervous and, wanting to make sure I didn't sleep in. So up at 5 o'clock in the morning, doing my morning routine in a bit of a rush, raced all the way there, really happy, arrived. And I did think, there's not many cars in the car park, but I went in anyway. And so I'm there at 6:30 for a 7 o'clock start.
Yeah.
And it's the wrong day. The wrong day.
Oh no!
And I drove all the way to Southport.
Oh,
Driven all the way to Southport.
After getting up at that time as well, that's just awful.
So that's a throwaway one.
Yeah. What about you, San? Have you been good this week?
Well, I think I'm all right. I think people think I've humiliated myself with more of my posts about Eurovision, but I'm cool with that. No.
I love that. Okay, we're going to do shout out to the grown-ups. So any grown-ups who've done amazing things this week. Uncle Ron. My Uncle Ron's listening. He says, what effect has Brexit had on small business?
We've got 6 minutes left, I'm afraid. Let's not even go there. We don't do politics, remember. Don't get me started on that.
You've got 1 minute to answer it, Mark.
Sorry.
What was the question?
What effect has Brexit had on small business?
What effect has Brexit had on small business? I mean, that's a show in itself, isn't it? Brexit was largely forgotten about when COVID hit, But you know, a lot of businesses struggling export, import, and I have members who've got import businesses bringing products in. I think there was a cut off. I think they were allowed to continue under the old rules to a certain extent, but member was telling me every single product they're bringing in and every single ingredient in the product has to be checked, and you need a certificate for it. Yeah, it's had a major,
and the workforce, isn't it? You know, not being able to have enough workers and things.
I mean, recruitment. I mean, a lot of our European, you know, employees, staff, you know, during COVID have gone back, or for many reasons have gone back. So there's effects all over the place. You know.
Yeah, it's sad, isn't it? Anyway, shout out to the grown-ups, any grown-ups who've done amazing things. So I'm going to shout out. Are you going first, San?
No, you go first.
Am I going first? So I'm going to give a shout out to our previous guest, Phil Mylott. So Phil Mylott went over to Athens, compete as Team GB. So he got into Team GB. He's 70. Is he 71, 70?
He's ace. He's just ace.
And he did the biathlon European Championships last Thursday in Greece, and he collected the gold medal. So he won the gold medal. So he had to do a 400 run, then a 100-meter swim, and then a 400 run. And the 100-meter swim was in open water. And the guy who came second on the photograph that I posted was actually a former German Olympian.
Incredible, isn't it?
And he won it, and you know, he was like, oh, I don't think, when I said, how are you gonna, and he was like, I don't think I'll get on, you know, it's an experience for me to be there, and you know, and I think for him to nail it is just amazing.
It's just amazing. And he was talking about it ages ago and what he was going to do. It's just fantastic, isn't it? He's so cool. He's into nutrition though in a big way as well.
Yeah, and he looks after himself. But I think it is the thing of, like, you know, never give up on your dreams, you know, in your 70s, and then going to win an Olympic medal, a gold medal, isn't it? You know, so it's the championship, so it's amazing. So big shout out, my big shout outs to Phil Mylott. San, any grown ups you want to shout out to?
Big shout out to Claire McColgan, obviously, and along with a lot of team and other people involved in getting Eurovision to Liverpool, seeing how important it was, putting the bid in, which is a massive amount of effort, and successfully convincing the judges to come. And whoever decided it'd be good if we were twinned with Odessa, because that obviously was quite helpful as well. So well done to those people.
Brilliant. Mark, any grown-ups you want to shout out to?
Well,
shout out to your wife for putting up with you.
Shout out to my wife at the moment for putting up with me. She says she feels ashamed. On the radio,
all over the city.
Yeah, definitely. Shout out to my wife for putting up with me, definitely.
And any other grown-ups you want to shout out to?
Well, many of the businesses and members that I work with and support, whether it be Expect Limited, which is a great charity in Sefton that I really love supporting, that I was invited to celebrate their successes only in the last couple of weeks. Expect Limited, the care provider in Sefton charity, and also Merseyside Youth Support Trust in, I get this wrong, Kirkdale, who is a charity who supports young entrepreneurs by not just giving them support, but also giving them space, like an office, giving them actual tangible space and support delivering their business plan. So both teams, big shout out to them.
Brilliant, amazing. Brilliant. Thank you very much. Do you have a positive challenge very quickly, Mark, that people could just do a nice little something? We've had like smile at a stranger, bake a cake, anything like that.
Love smile at a stranger. I smile at everyone. I'm known for smiler, definitely. But something that I'm working on at the moment, I'm trying to improve, is my morning routine. Not quite where I want it to be, but nearly there. I was up at 5:30. I was up at 5:30 this morning. I was in the park pitch black, couldn't see
Yeah.
a few yards in front of me, doing some of my exercising and training. So
Well,
I would challenge people to think about what they want to get out of the day, and if they possibly can, not everyone's circumstances will allow, try and get what you want out of the day first thing in the morning.
Perfect. I love that. I love that.
good advice, I
So
think.
we've got 4 seconds. Mark is going to do our closing quote for us. I want to say a massive thank you to Mark, massive thank you to Sandra. We're going to see everybody next week, and Mark is going to close the show with his closing quote, a little mantra that he lives by.
Well, the mantra that I live by is give is gain, but fair trade is no robbery.
Fair trade is no robbery. Amazing.
So, which is a sharing sort of quote. It's actually based on a legal sector sort of quote that underpins contract. The idea of a fair trade. I give you, equally you give me.
Brilliant.
Great.
Amazing. Thank you very much, and we will see everybody next week. Thank you, Mark.
Thank you. Thank you both, Helen.